What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest piece of One Piece. Chapter 1090, entitled Admiral KIZARU. Now, I did read the first batch that came out and stuff like that, but I waited for the better translation before reviewing it, just because there were some slight changes and stuff like that, but I wanted to make sure anything key wasn't missing, because people take the first translation and they're like, oh my god, this is what Luffy said, or this is what KIZARU said, and it implies this and this, and meanwhile, if you get the better translation, it's like, it doesn't hold the same weight, or it's not holding any water, so to speak, right? So, opening up, we get the cover page with Captain Kuro. We actually get Kuro. Like Tekking already expressed, I was kind of looking forward to, even though Kuro's like not even my top 5 villains, I did like Kuro back. Early One Piece definitely has a different vibe from current One Piece, right? And some things are, maybe it's nostalgia or something, but I was sort of hoping for maybe following a cover serial with what Kuro's been up to, because the anime showcased Kuro a little bit more, but those were filler scenes, so we just don't know. But yeah, it's just a fan art request, but still, got to see Captain Kuro again. That was kind of neat. So the chapter opens up. Luffy. It sort of opened up randomly that Luffy still grabbed the receiver and started, "Hey, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm gonna be king of the pirates." I mean, I'm glad that Luffy straight up is talking to the Gorosei and stuff, but nothing substantial actually happened between these two. Luffy basically went on there and said, "I'm gonna be king of the pirates," like he always says. And, which is fine that he stated that to now the Gorosei directly, but then there was no talk of, son of dragon or something. Like, I wanted Luffy, I didn't expect a reaction from the Gorosei technically, because the Gorosei, of course, they're political leaders and stuff. They have to keep a level head, a cool, they sort of do the proper thing and blah blah blah. Yes, well, that's just non-negotiable. Click. That son of a bitch, goddamn, they do that behind closed doors sort of idea. They're never going to show, you're never going to see the Gorosei sweat while in negotiations or talking to a pirate or whatever. They'll do that behind closed doors, like, oh, damn it, he got me, damn, like Light Yagami in Death Note, when he freaked out after he got home, and Ryuk was like, whoa, where's this coming from? He was bottling it all up to not show, to save face, right? So the Gorosei are definitely going to do that. But for the fact that this is the first time talking, I was a little disappointed because Luffy straight up just says, "We got the Vegapunks here, you better clear off all your ships and blah blah blah." And I sort of was, their first interaction between the Gorosei and Luffy, I was sort of hoping for more of a, I don't know, like the Big Mom call in Fishman Island sort of idea. I was hoping for more of a, listen, I'm going to be king of the pirates. Back off, Robin. She's my crewmate. If you guys come after her, you come after me. I wanted a declaration of war or something. I wanted a, I'm coming for you next, Like, if you guys get in my way again, if you don't do this, I'm, gonna do this and this. Like, I wanted him to basically, I don't know what I expected from Luffy, but this wasn't it. Like, literally the only thing that comes out of this is Luffy says, "I'm gonna be king of the pirates," which is fine. And he says, "Call off all your ships, man. I got all the Vegapunks here." And the Gorosei's like, yes. Well, how many of you are left standing? How many Vegapunks are left? Blah, blah, blah. They're trying to get some. How many of you survived over there? Well, some of us are kind of banged up. And Luffy, stop talking. Don't tell them anything sort of idea, right? They were trying to get information out of him. Then it's like, all right, that's enough. Click. It's like, For me personally, I just thought that the first interaction directly between the Gorosei and Luffy was going to have a little more smack talk involved, a little more like Luffy's like, if you guys interfere with me again, I'll come up to Mary Jo and kick all your asses or something. Like, I sort of wanted a little bit of that. I don't know. I mean, it was fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with what happened, but, and it's not like we've been anticipating when the Gorosei meet Luffy, shit's gonna go down. It's not like when Luffy sees Blackbeard again or when he sees Akainu again or something like that. It's gonna be more like anticipated, but still, we didn't really get much out of it, sort of idea. They suspect that Nico Robin was there, the woman talking involved. Morgans and Vivi are actually listening in on one of the Black Dendon Mushi snails there, so that's quite interesting. So they're getting the whole scoop and stuff like that. It's big news for Morgans and stuff, right? Now, Saint Garcia Saturn there, he's just talking all the stuff like, here's what we got to do, we got to get the punk records, yada yada yada. and talks about how human life means absolutely nothing to them. They go through, apparently Robin, looks like Robin and Kaku got a little beat up by the Seraphim and or York or what have you, but everyone else is pretty much fine by the looks of it. Robin took quite a bit of damage. We don't really know what happened off screen. I'm assuming that Robin was one of the ones fighting on the front lines and maybe had to take on some of the Seraphim and that kind of idea. She got banged up, but she's okay. Chopper's like, yeah, you're all bandaged up, you're all good. Kaku's the same deal. Like, pathetic. I'm this down and out from just battling the two of the Seraphim, and you know what? That's sort of selling Kaku and Robin. Like, you guys are sort of selling yourself short a little bit here. The Seraphim are no joke, considering that S-Hawk made Blackbeard sweat. Let's just be real here. So, I mean, and once again, I don't put Blackbeard in my top 10. I put him there a little while ago when I did a top 30, just because I knew if I didn't put him in the top 10, nobody would listen to the other 29 characters. They'd only give a shit that Blackbeard's too low, and that's all I was going to hear. So that was more for the sake of not pissing off everybody, but I don't think Blackbeard's top 10 whatsoever. So maybe that's not going off of much, but still, I don't think Kaku appreciates how powerful the Seraphim actually are. The fact that they still ended up with a W means a lot. Jewelry Bonnie seems to be okay now. They've released all the CP0 agents who now, just like on Punk Hazard, now these Marines love the Straw Hats and stuff. They're like, they saved us, this is fantastic, blah, 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 you know. So, going through all that. Now, Lucci somehow is doing some type of Morse code with his teeth, or he's got a little transceiver in a molder or something, because he's muttering to himself. He's like, 4 of the bag of punks are wounded, 2 are dead. The Straw Hat crew is currently, you know, and KIZARU basically says later in the chapter, like, Rob Lucci is a perfect agent. He's given us everything we need and stuff like that, right? So even though Lucci and Kaku and stuff teamed up with Straw Hats for now, of course, he's still the government dog, and he's still, you know, it's still going to go down the way it's going to, right? Some people probably don't like this. I didn't really see a whole lot of people talking about this, but so the 4 Seraphim are encased in like some protective gel bubble thingy, and anyway, it's made out of sea stone. It's infused with sea stone and stuff like that. It's gonna hold all the devil fruit uses and stuff and keep them weak. So the Seraphim are trapped up. It's fine and everything. So Frankie and stuff like that is saying like, thanks for undoing the petrification and things like that for us. It's very peculiar the way she reacted. So the funny thing is here is that S-Snake, who of course is Boa Hancock, she, somewhere in her DNA makeup is the love for Luke. Now, I don't really care for this. I think it's done for plot convenience more than anything. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You could look at it from, I guess, a bit of a romantic perspective. It's been done well in like the Clone Saga of Spider-Man TV show and stuff. The idea that a clone will still fall in love with, of Mary Jane will still fall in love with Peter Parker or Spider-Man regardless, because a clone is still gonna, like, it's one of those things where Mary Jane Watson, no matter in what form, is always gonna love Peter Parker, right? And it's a romantic notion. Here it doesn't work out so much because they're trying to scientifically explain that because Hancock's blood was used and her makeup was used to make S-Snake. Of course, this was also before she even met Luffy. The fact is that apparently Luffy goes up to S-Snake and basically says, you have to help them out. They're our friends. You're the only one who can do it. I'm counting on you. And she just goes, okay, I get it. And she actually does what Luffy says. Jinbei brings it up like, just like the real Hancock. Terrible personality, but will listen to whatever Luffy says. Loves Luffy and will listen to it. It's kind of funny that that's how it worked out. It doesn't actually make sense. You're arguing that literally Boa, before she met Luffy, her blood cells were literally tied to a man she never met before. Her literal blood recognizes a man that she never met, and then that cloned blood made S-Snake, and that S-Snake still falls in love with the exact same man at a cellular level. It's a little bit of a hard pill to swallow for me, in all honesty. But, I mean, it's One Piece. It's a little goofy. And, I mean, once again, as I said, it's a bit of a romantic notion, once again, going back to the Mary Jane Peter Parker stuff, that, you know, if my memories were gone a million times, I'd find you and fall in love with you every single time. It's a romantic notion, but I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, really. If it was a more heavy, romantic, emotional-based manga in that regard, then it would be cheesy, but once again, it would be on the cheesy romance side. In One Piece, it's just like, wait a minute, what? So, yeah, because Jinbei even said, it's funny to see her Seraphim have the same disposition for Luffy. Like, wait, what? And now Vegapunk starts jotting down notes about this, saying, how fascinating. The traits passed on by the lineage factor during the cloning process go far deeper than I expected. Once again, this is going off of this lineage factor. But this is also under the notion that the thing that sort of bothers me is that means that Boa, no matter what, we're going on sort of a soulmates, bit of a leap of faith of the soulmates thing. Is that it doesn't matter when Boa met. When Boa was born, her actual cells, her soul was already linked and fell in love with Luffy. That's sort of the logic we're going off of here, okay? We're going on the soulmates journey because this lineage factor equivalent, the heart, the soul, the lineage factor was already in love with Luffy before he even met. And I'm just like, okay, you know, like, all right. So, yeah, I mean, once again, this is going off the notion that Boa gave her blood or her lineage factor or any of the tests were done prior to Amazon Lily. I'm under that firm belief that that's what happened. I don't think it happened in the 2-year time skip. It could have, and if that's the case, then maybe there is an argument there. But I really don't think so because Jinbei, S-Hawk, all the like Jinbei clearly not within the 2-year time skip did he do that. I'm pretty confident there, right? Like all the blood samples and stuff were given before the story started. So yeah, I don't know. I'm done harping on it. I just find it very like, alright. Either way, they're trying to disable the barrier. They're trying to get Eddie here and stuff like that. York keeps being York and it's just a fool. We keep going on to all this different stuff, you know, like talking about where are we going to end up, where's the ship's navigator, that's Nami, blah, blah, blah. And apparently, now this is hype. Elbaf is the next one. Vegapunk said, I guess we're going to Elbaf. And Luffy and fucking Chopper, or Luffy and Usopp are just like, the giant island of our dreams? We're going to Elbaf finally? And a lot of people are very happy. Now, Robin is silent about this, thinking about it, but she's quite silent in this regard because she's thinking about Saul. She might get a chance to go see Saul again. That, even though I don't like the idea that Saul's alive, since he's brought back anyways, it's going to be a very nice reunion. I still think it takes away from the moment in Wano with Robin's fight, but if you were going to bring Saul back anyways, it's going to be a very tear-jerker of a reunion between Saul and Robin. So there's something to be said for there, and we're finally going to get to go to Elbaf. A lot of people have been hyping and wanting to go to Elbaf. I'm hyped for Elbaf. I hope it's way better than Egghead. But you know what the best part about the Egghead Island arc has been? The best part? When we went and followed Garp. That's when it was the best. That was the key point. But anyways, yeah, I would argue that Egghead so far is still my least favorite arc of all of One Piece. But, anyways, they keep... The chapter goes on for them to explain how the hell they're going to get out of Egghead and all the technicalities. I don't really care because, once again, Egghead doesn't do anything for me. They talk about, oh, we'll use the Kude Burst. We need Cola. We're going to go on Cola. Vegapunk and him are talking about it. They're cracking some passcode that York came up with, you know, what have you, and now they're all going to leave. Jewelry Bonnie's going to go on with them, apparently, like that. And Jewelry Bonnie also says, like, Sanji is, like, what a man. Now, I can see... This actually makes sense. Can you not see Jewelry Bonnie ending up with Sanji by the end of the story? She loves to eat. Sanji's a cook. She likes a strong man. It's like, man, that guy's great. A chef who can fight. People are going to be shipping Jewelry Bonnie with Sanji after this. But I can see it. A lot of people still want to pair up the crew, but Oda has stated multiple times he's like against that idea, and I'm actually, I like that. I like the idea that when and if some of these characters find love, or you know, a wife or a husband or whatever, it's going to be outside the actual crew. You know, like Rayleigh didn't end up with someone from Roger's crew. He ended up with Shockey, right? So there's that sort of idea. I like that idea. Like Zoro and Shigi's a popular one. Sanji with Jewelry Bonnie would be good. You know, just spitballing. Usopp with Kaya, obviously, right? Like there's enough of a notion there, I would say, for that kind of idea. So yeah. Either way, they're all heading out. We go back to Kizaru. This moment's great here, where he's just like, yeah, Straw Hat talked a big game, but it looks like they're trapped. And talks about how Lucci's sending them information. Once again, he must have some transmitter in a tooth or something like that, because he's mumbling all the information. And he's like, well, you're made of light, is what Goro says. Is like, Kizaru, you're made of light. Can't you just bypass all this shit and get there? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do that. I might as well. But he's like, well, I want you to fly over Centauro and just go beeline straight for, you know, because clearly, you know, when you go in a beeline. But beeline for Straw Hat and stuff. And he's like, no, that'd be disrespectful to Centauro. He resolved to put his life on the line. I'd be spitting in his face. I'm not going to do that. So I like that Kizaru's sort of saying, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, he's chill. He's still going to do his orders, and he's going to listen to what the Gorosei says. But he's like, yeah, I'll do that, but I got to do this first. I'm still going to do what you say. I'm just doing it my way, right? So, and that's a fair point, and he doesn't really have much of a response to that. So he's just like, all right, well, I don't want you to draw this out too long and stuff like that. So get going. All the vice admirals and stuff get ready. They're ready to go for this battle. And then Kizaru, of course, goes straight for Centauro, and he's like, bring it on, uncle, and boom, boom, boom. And Kizaru's in his light form. He's going right for Centauro, and then, of course, his hockeyed up, and he goes, didn't you know my guard is the strongest in the world? And Kizaru kicks, Centauro blocks. We don't know how that exchange went exactly, because it's the end of the chapter. That's where Luffy is sweating, and he says, someone really strong is coming. Now, here's where a lot of people are losing their absolute shit. Okay? Luffy is sweating over Kizaru. Admiral Agenda people are stroking themselves off over this one, right? Because people are like, Luffy didn't care about pissing off Big Mom or Kaido, but now all of a sudden he's freaking out against an admiral. Clearly, Admiral's over Yonkos. That's not what's happening here, people. This is a respect thing. You know, he recognizes, like, Luffy's been coasting this whole arc because there hasn't really been a real opponent. And boom, an admiral, an OG, not Fujitora or Fraud Bull, but Kizaru is showing up. And Luffy is putting respect on the name. That's all that's happening. That is all that's happening here. Luffy, once again, would still, in a 1v1, would lose to Kaido, 100 HP, both of them straight up. Kaido would probably still beat Luffy. Just because Luffy won the fight in the end doesn't mean it would turn out the same every single time. Remember all the combatants, remember all the damage Kaido already took, and how many times he beat Luffy before Luffy got one W on him. Remember, Luffy took like 3 or 4 L's before getting the 1 W. His track record against Kaido is still a losing record. Let's be fair. People can argue, well, he didn't have Gear 5. But yeah, he had to die to get it. So, alright. He had to lose to Kaido too many times for that. Now, this doesn't mean... What this means is that Kizaru versus Luffy is still a fight. Just because it's Yonko over Admirals in a 1v1 does not mean that Admirals are just going to be completely dog-walked by Yonko either, right? It's still a great fight. Kizaru is not getting lower mid-diffed by Gear 5th Luffy. I don't see that. I don't see a lot of characters. People are just overhyping Gear 5th to this insane degree, and I just don't think it's I think it's mostly the power scalers not understanding context, and a lot of these agenda people basically, if you're part of an agenda, like a Yonko agenda, an Admiral agenda, a Gear 5 agenda, you think that basically your agenda is the only thing that matters and it means no diff for everything else. And that's the problem with the agenda people here. This panel has been talked about so much, that's why I'm harping on it. I'm under the opinion that Luffy is simply no different than against anybody else, is putting actual respect. Kizaru is not getting low diffed by Luffy. As a result, Luffy is like, wait a minute, I just sensed something really fucking dangerous, right? Kizaru is dangerous. The Admirals are going to remain viably dangerous for the rest of the series. No different than the Yonko are going to remain viably dangerous for the rest of the series. They just will be, right? As I said before, if Kaido gets out under that volcano explosion and fought Luffy right now, there's a good chance Kaido beats Luffy. So, just saying. Just saying. So, the fact that he's sweating some bullets up against, and he's respecting and saying, someone really strong is headed this way, I don't see the issue. It's literally the strongest person in the Marines. Like, one of the top 5, because you got your... Well, actually, right now, since Kuzan's gone... Okay, you have Akainu, Sengoku, Kizaru, and Garp are the 4 strongest in the Marines. Sengoku's retired. Garp is at Hajinosu. Kuzan's also on Hajinosu. So, literally, all you have left that's going to make... in the top tiers is Akainu and Kizaru, and they are going to give Luffy a fight, even in Gear 5. So I don't see an issue. This is going to be, I think, Chapter 1091, assuming we stick with this, is going to showcase just a good fight. A really good fight between Kizaru and some people are even saying, oh no, he's sensing Saint Garcia Saturn or whatever. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's sensing Kizaru. Like, a lot of people are trying to work their Gorosei agenda into there and stuff. I don't get it. But either way, is what it is. That's the chapter. Yeah. 1090 was fine. I'm just ready to get off of Egghead. But if next chapter we have Kizaru versus Zoro, Jinbei, Sanji, Luffy, whomever, I'll just be really stoked to see that. I actually would like to see... I'd like to see Zoro, as a Zoro fanboy, I would like to see Zoro and or Jinbei first, like, clash with Kizaru. And I would like a few clashes first, just to sort of, that same sort of idea like Mihawk's like, I just want to test my sword against that man. I want to see how far has Zoro come at this point, and I want to see him go toe-to-toe on equal footing with an Admiral, or will he get pushed back, or will he be able to push Kizaru? I just, that would be interesting. And I want to see what will happen when either Luffy or Zoro uses Advanced Conquerors Haki against Kizaru. What's the defense against that? Just really good advanced armament Haki that the Admirals are going to have? Because it's very unlikely that Kizaru has Conquerors at all. And we know that Conquerors is the superior of the two of the Hakis. So I would be interested. But Kizaru's older. His armament is probably as good or better than anybody on the Straw Hats crew. So, is it going to be sort of a tie match? Because Kizaru's armament is going to be considered to be as high as you can get it, at that level. And, Conqueror's Haki is better, but since it's not as mastered as Kizaru's armament, it's going to be sort of a stalemate, maybe, or it's going to be an even clash. I don't know. I'm just really looking forward to 1091 without all the power scaling craziness. I'm just looking forward to seeing Kizaru clash with one or more of the Straw Hats in general, and to see how far they've come since Sabaody Archipelago, and see where we go from there. I'm just looking forward to that. So, anyways, that's it from me, guys. I know it's a bit of a all over the place review, but it is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back here next time for chapter 1091. Break next week, of course, but I'm looking forward when we come back from break. So, Thanks guys for watching. Peace out.